Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jason.
I am Daravi.
In part one of this video, we took you on a tour of the BoTree Pepper Farm here in Kampot, Cambodia. In this video, we're going to have an interview with Chris and Ali, the owners, to learn more about the farm and the inner workings of the pepper industry here in Kampot.
Decided to come and we like the smaller farms, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of farms in the
In the area.
area, but most of them are microscopic. They're very, very small,
Yeah.
and they don't have any facility or anybody who could show anybody around. So there's a half a dozen farms which you can visit, and will offer you a tour around.
We just like the guy, Saudi.
Saudi,
He's really good.
Good.
And he has been very welcoming and we like the whole experience.
Good.
We got to eat here. The food is so unique that you have the pepper in the
Very
dishes.
tasty. Where are you
And
from?
I'm from Cambodia.
Well, I guessed that bit, but where from?
Phnom Penh.
Not bad.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's
America.
from
America.
Yes.
Got
Which
married
bit?
and yeah.
You know Chicago?
No, never been there, but I know where it is. Yeah.
Okay, so we're about 3 hours south of Chicago. It's called Indiana, Indianapolis. That's where we're from. All right, guys, we're fortunate enough to meet the owners of BoTree Pepper Farm. So you want to tell us a little bit about the farm and the history and how you guys got started?
Sure. Well, we were actually visitors to that farm over there, Starling Farm, which was owned by good friends of ours, and we were spending weekends there, drinking lots of wine and whiskey, going for mountain bike rides, and falling in love with the pepper because they were producing beautiful, beautiful pepper. So it's quite easy once you taste this pepper, it's quite easy to let it take you over, because it completely changes how you think about food in general. You know,
Right.
you go through life thinking pepper is pepper.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then you discover that it's pepper that actually really does change your food, and it really does help you to taste things better. It becomes quite interesting. So one day on a mountain bike ride, Mark, the owner there, who's from Northern Ireland, his wife is Khmer, and their 8-year-old son was cycling along this, what used to be a track along there, just a little tiny farm track. And I spotted a gap in the forest and went up there, and I turned around and went, wow. This is beautiful, because from up there you can see the sea, you can see Trail, Phuquoc, you can see Bokor Mountain top, you can see the Secret Lake, you can see the Domrey Mountains disappearing into the distance. It's very beautiful. And so I came down and that evening and said to Mark's wife Anna, do you think that land's for sale?
Oh, wow.
She said she had no idea, and I forgot about it immediately. But a couple of months later she rang up and said, hey Chris, land's for sale. What do you want to do? So we decided then and there we would do it. So we bought the land, got married, had 3 children. I sold my travel business, which I'd been doing up until then,
Wow.
just before COVID, lucky for me.
Wow. Good timing.
And now we focus on this. But for a while we were doing both. Initially we got them to manage it because they knew what they were doing. So for the first 3 years they managed it. And then Ali brought in her family, and Ali's got a huge family. So we have, her family goes girl, 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 boy, boy. So we've got all of the family from the twins downwards working with us. So it's very much a family affair.
Good.
I'm not a farmer. So her family run the farm.
Wow.
I attempt to do a bit of marketing and try to get a few exports sorted out. But we're small. We've got quite a big patch of land, but we haven't tried to industrialize it. We've only got about 3 hectares of pepper in about 44 hectares of land. Most of the land is forest, and that's the way I like it. And we're actually planting more forest. We're planting rosewoods and teaks and mahoganies and high value trees, which I hope will then seed up into the hills and restore the good forest. Recently, we've started hearing gibbons coming into our forest above us again. So obviously something's working.
Great.
It's amazing.
In fact, about half of that hillside was grass when we came here, and now it's 100% forest again. So we're having an effect for sure. And as for the pepper, well, we started planting in 2012. We got our first harvest in 2013. Like a good wine, you can't just harvest it straight away and get good pepper.
Sure.
So we have to wait. We have a 3-year wait. In fact, we have to. That doesn't mean we don't have nothing to do. We actually have to go around taking off the flowers in order to prevent try to prevent the plant from going into fruit production mode. because we want the plant to put all its energy into growing its rootstock
The
deep,
roots, yeah.
deep, because the soils here are actually very poor, very infertile. As you can see, rocks and sand.
Yeah.
But it's the minerals in the soil that are exceptional.
Flavor. I see.
We don't really know why this area is so good for producing one of the best peppers there is. Pepper's not native here. If you don't look after it and feed it and look after it and feed it, it dies.
Yeah.
And during the Khmer Rouge, it did. It all died. So it had to be restarted. So Kampot pepper's only really been Kampot pepper since 2010, because that's when it was listed for protected geographic indication locally. And in 2015, it became recognized by the European Union, which is the important one, because even America and Canada and Australia and New Zealand nowadays, South Africa, they do recognize this system.
Right.
You know, you might remember 30 years ago, you could buy Californian champagne and Australian champagne, but you can't anymore, because everybody in the wealthy, rich world is buying into this system now. And Cambodia is beginning to understand that it's very valuable to them, to us here, to have products which are globally recognized as being uniquely special. Kampot pepper is the first one. The second one was Kampong Spoo palm sugar.
Okay.
And the third one, well, we've got a whole array of new ones coming up shortly, which have already been recognized locally, but not yet ratified. For example, Kampot salt has been given PGI as well. There's a number of others. Yes, so that's going to enhance the world's perception of Cambodia and the things that Cambodia produces. So that's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
So when you first saw the land, was that your original intention? Was pepper? Is that the first thing you thought?
Well, I mean, if you buy land in this particular zone, the zone where you can go grow Kampot pepper is only about 20-kilometer radius, or diameter. So it's not a very big area. It's really just these hills here. That's it.
Yeah.
If you grow pepper on the side of Bokor, just over there, it's not Kampot pepper,
Right.
because the conditions are different, and they don't produce that kind of pepper. Phuquoc, which is we can see from our balcony up there, you would expect it to be very similar, but it's not. It's completely different. The geological, the makeup of the soils is very different. They make a very good pepper there, actually. They grow a very good pepper there, but it's quite different from ours.
Interesting.
It's actually spicier, but it's less aromatic and less complex. One of the unique things about Kampot pepper is how long it opens your palate for. I mean, this is a thing that people don't fully understand very often, is the difference between a flavoring and a seasoning. Flavorings change the taste of your food. A seasoning changes how your palate works and how it tastes those food. And salt, sugar, and pepper are three primary seasonings. Obviously, pepper's the flavoring as well. Most people think of pepper as,
Just
I love pepper. It's a flavoring. But actually, the real key to it, and this is where chefs are very interested in getting a good pepper, is how it opens your palate and amplifies your ability to taste whatever the chef is trying to produce. And Kampot pepper does that uniquely well. It's quite extraordinary. You use a pepper from Memot or from Vietnam or somewhere else, and it titillates the end of your tongue, a little bit around the sides, and by 2 minutes later, the sensation's gone. You put Kampot pepper in your mouth, and it titillates all parts of your palate, and each part of your palate brings out different sensations. So you get this massive array of different sensations, and 20 minutes later, you can still be tasting it.
Exactly. So that taste, that flavor that lingers, because as soon as we tried it right off the vine out there, I'm like 20 minutes later when towards done, I'm like, I still taste it.
But the key thing is, from a chef's perspective, it's enhancing your ability to taste what they're cooking. Not just the pepper, but what they're cooking for that length of time.
That's really good. I still feel the back of my throat. We try everything. We try the ice cream as well. It's really unique.
It is good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really
People are very surprised by that. Pepper ice cream? God. But it reminds you that pepper is a fruit.
But it's so unique.
You know?
Right.
It's a fruit. Pepper's a fruit. So the red pepper actually gives you a fruity flavour for the ice cream and the heat that comes after. It's lovely.
Yeah. And I'm amazed how they handpick the pepper one by one, despite all it coming to wine with a long grind like that, and every single day through the tour. And I was amazed by how they have to do that.
It's very labour intensive.
Yeah, really.
There are really no shortcuts. I mean, in the commodity growing world of pepper, yes, there are shortcuts. You've got machines which make all the very small corns fall away, disappear. And I believe you can get sort of laser grading machines which can judge the size and the moisture content and all that sort of stuff. We're nowhere near that kind of thing here. You know, the entire production of all of Kampot on a decent year is about 120 tons in a market of 500,000 tons. So Kampot pepper is minuscule.
Okay.
You know, before COVID, when pepper was a big product in Cambodia, Cambodia was producing about 20,000 tons. So Kampot was only producing 0.5% of that. And yet, whenever anyone ever talks about pepper in Cambodia, they always talk about Kampot pepper.
Yes. Yeah.
So, are you doing this for the money, or is this more like a labor of love?
If I was doing it for the money, I'd be.
Yeah, you would have grown.
Oh no, there's no, and as you'll be. If you go around the whole Kampot pepper growing area, there's farms closing down all the time.
Okay.
There is no money in this.
Okay.
People assume that because Kampot pepper is expensive, we're all getting rich on it. But the truth is, firstly, we get very small yields. The species of pepper we grow and the conditions that we grow means that we get a very small amount of fruit on our trees. We have a good friend who used to have he sold it now, but he had a pepper farm up in Mondulkiri, almost exactly the same footprint as ours, growing organically. He produced a very nice pepper. He was getting 7 tons where we're getting 2.
Okay.
Because he's got rich, loamy soils which produce lots of,
fruits.
Yeah. But the taste is quite different. It's far less intense, far less aromatic.
Yeah.
It's nice, but it's not this.
Yeah, it's not this.
So we get low yields, we've got extremely high labor requirements, where our whole scale is too small to really make a big business out of it. That's why we're building that new farm workshop, which is not finished yet. Part of that is going to be a new product development kitchen so that we can start making derivative products, different spice mixes. We've got lots of mangoes, and yet we're not using them yet. We could be making, mango chutneys with Kampot pepper, mango cider with Kampot pepper, dried mangoes with Kampot pepper. We grow turmeric, and the turmeric is super rich. And we grow pipali as well. Did you see the pipali?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I love it. This is the first time that I had it.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good. I got addicted to it because the sweetness, the fruitiness in there, and the tea is so unique.
Yes.
Yes.
But we've already experimented. We've made a vinegar with it. We've made a salsa with it. We've made a jam with it. We've made a mustard with it, which was really interesting. And we're going to continue to try and develop products using that as well. But we need a facility to do it. So I have no desire to become industrial about it and become big business, but I want to stay small, artisanal, but what I want to be sure that we do is everything we do really, really well.
Right.
And I think we might be lucky with our terroir here. I think we might have hit a particularly good spot, because 2 years ago we submitted our black, red, and white pepper to the Guild of Fine Food in London, who run the biggest fine foods appraisal thing in the world every year. They get 17,000 products submitted each year. You have to pay to submit, so you would only submit if you think your product is particularly good. And a handful of those will win an award of some sort. And our black pepper became the first black pepper from anywhere in the world to win the highest one. So we got 3 stars 2 years ago. 2 other Kampot peppers were submitted, and they only got 2 stars. So I think we might be lucky that we've just got a particularly good terroir right here. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to over-exploit it and over-milk it. I don't want to stress the water systems, and I don't want to plant it intensively because, firstly, it's risky. You get a problem with one end of your vineyard, it goes straight through the whole thing. Whereas if you do what we've done, which is separate it in different blocks with forest in between, you're actually protecting your land. And you're protecting your water supplies as well. So that's the way I see it. And also, I'm far too old to be thinking about going into big business.
We saw that you plant different things in between as well when we walk around.
Yeah.
And we found our favorite fruit as well is the durian.
We haven't yet got any fruit.
We heard maybe
No.
next year. So when you get a new road and new fruit, we'll come back.
We serve at 8 years when we grow like organically. Take a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
If you do something, it may be 3 years can harvest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why you see durian with these poles holding the branches up, is because they're producing fruit before they're strong enough to carry it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And organic. So organic.
Organic is-
It takes a long time. Yeah.
Our oldest trees are probably what, 2 years away from producing fruit now?
Yeah.
2 more years. And
2
then
more
hopefully
years?
we'll have some, yeah.
I see. That would be good. We want to come and taste it again.
2 more years.
2 more years.
Durian time. Durian season.
Durian season should be March, April. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that would be really good one. We love durian and he loves it more than me.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, durian season coincides with the pepper harvest, so there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
I'm back when they're harvesting both.
Uh-huh. Yep. You know.
Are you living in the States?
Yes.
You are. We have one reseller in the States at the moment. We've been talking to a number of different people about it, but the real problem we have exporting is that most of the established spice trading companies, they all want to put their name on it.
Okay.
You know, and we're saying no, this is a protected geographic indication. It must have direct and recognizable links to where it comes from. And the other thing is, it's too easy to take sacks of pepper and mix it with
Right.
Yeah.
and double up your volume and still call it Kampot pepper. And I believe that we need to bring back the control of that to here. I believe that Kampot pepper should only be exported as a finished product.
Right. Otherwise, you end up like the olive oil situation, where most of it's fake. And
Yes.
You don't know what you're
precisely-
getting.
Precisely. We know there's probably 20 times more Kampot pepper sold in the world than is actually grown.
Yeah, that's
Because everybody's lying and cheating because nobody's policing the system. So I've turned down 90% of my overseas buying inquiries because they want to take it and in 25 kilo sacks and put their own name on it. And I'm saying, no, you can't do that.
no.
I'm looking for partners who are prepared to partner up with BoTree and promote the BoTree brand.
Right.
But I think I'm beginning to make some headway now. I was actually in Bangkok last week because I was summoned to give a presentation to a whole bunch of people from the food industry there, top chefs and distributors and things, and they were all visibly impressed. And one of them was a guy who is a fine food distributor in the US. So he went away, I think, with ideas in his head to do something. So that's
So is there a market in the U.S. yet for that?
For
Like
sure.
established?
For sure,
I mean, like established? Because like if I hadn't come to Cambodia, I wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
So like the average American, I don't think has any clue.
Well, what's the name of your famous, much beloved chef who killed himself?
Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain. He
Yep.
came home and did a thing on Kampot Pepper, and he used to wax lyrical about how great
Sure.
Kampot Pepper was. Lots of famous chefs from the UK have been out and made TV shows about it, but Anthony Bourdain has certainly been out here and done that. Yes, I mean, actually, the only outlet we currently have for Kampot Pepper in the US is Christopher Kimball's Milk Street.
Okay.
Christopher, do you know who
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, the guy we watched, the tall white guy, bald head.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's him?
yeah, we watched that.
Yeah, we watch him.
He's a TV celebrity chef.
Yeah.
You know, he has his own cookery
Yeah.
thing, and he's they were out of stock when I last looked, but when I contacted them about it, they said, "Oh, sorry, we are reordering, we are reordering." But they resell our pepper in a small way, but again, even they would like to put their own branding on everything, and I'm saying no, it's got to be. It's like Louis Roederer would not allow anybody else to sell their Cristal champagne under any name
Right.
except Louis Roederer.
Right.
Yeah,
And we shouldn't either.
yeah, it deserves its
yeah.
recognitions.
Yeah.
And
Apart from which, it's actually setting it up in competition to us.
yeah, so
We're doing well in the UK, which is obviously where I'm from. My brother-in-law changed career specifically to sell our pepper. So he's doing a very proactive job, and that's largely why we've won all these awards there,
I see.
and why almost all the top chefs in the UK are now using our pepper.
Wow.
The most famous food emporium, which supplies the royal family, is it's come to me in a minute. There's a shop in Piccadilly, in London, which is super famous for its being the best, finest of everything. We're in there, and that's by invitation only.
That's amazing how far it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, in Europe especially.
Europe's very big on it. I mean, obviously, Kampot Pepper was, before it became Kampot Pepper and before the Khmer Rouge,
Yeah.
the French were here and they were growing a lot
They're
of it.
growing, yeah.
And, I mean, Kampot was producing 3,000 tons a year in the 1950s. But it wasn't called Kampot Pepper. It was called French pepper.
Oh.
Because the French colonial model was that they owned all their colonies. They were part of France. So it
Yeah.
was French pepper.
Yeah.
And they knew they had the best pepper in the world, but nobody else was allowed to know about that.
Wow. I didn't know that part. I just
Yeah.
know it brought by the French.
Yeah.
And
So the identity
this.
Kampot Pepper has only been since 2010, basically.
yeah, the uniqueness.
Yeah.
Yeah, they deserve it.
So it's a bit of a challenge, you know. And obviously there were people exporting Kampot Pepper before that.
Mm-hmm.
Pepper from Kampot
Pepper,
before that.
comfort, but not
And there were buyers in Germany and France and places who were already putting their own brand name on it. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that wasn't PGI then. So,
Yeah.
and I'm saying that you don't have to break your relationships with these people. You just have to say to them, we have to do your packaging for you here, where we
See.
can monitor and control it. You know.
See, yeah.
But anyway, I'm not winning that battle at the moment.
Yeah. So I hope for the best, like
Mm.
we can get it where you want it to go because it's deserved the recognition that it has earned and the people should know.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the normal pepper and the Kampot pepper.
It's so easy to fake it. So you know.
Yeah, it's too. The point is, it's too easy to mix it.
Right.
And fake it. Yes, I mean, and the only people who are going to know that they're not getting the real thing are the people who actually know it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And then, even then, you've got to be very sensitized to it, or you've got to have the real McCoy next to it to be able to compare. And when you do compare, it's very obvious.
Right. Right.
Yeah. We're building a few little export markets. We've got buyers in Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, Australia. Just about to launch in Hong Kong, I think. I
Oh,
hope.
really?
Hello.
And just Korea and Japan. Got a buyer in Japan who's just sent some to this week.
Mm-hmm.
We've got one in Canada who sells our salted green and our red, but none of the rest at the moment. Largely because she was an importer of Phuquoc pepper. She thinks that the Kampot pepper is going to compete too directly with the Phuquoc pepper, which of course it would.
Phuquoc
Would
pepper,
probably
yeah.
knock it out of the water, actually.
They must have a mass productions over there.
Phuquoc, no, Phuquoc pepper is it's like us. It's very niche.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
mass production in other parts of Vietnam. Vietnam's the biggest producer of pepper in the world. They grow 200,000 tons and stuff. Well, Phuquoc is one of their small niche, higher quality products.
I see.
But the thing is, they don't have we have the Kampot Pepper Promotion Association, which actually not only sets the rules about how you can grow it and the quality of the finished product and so on, but they set the minimum standards barrier, and they're quite good at monitoring the farms. What they don't really have the resources to do is to monitor the retail. So there's an awful lot of fake pepper floating around here as well as everywhere else. And if Phuquoc had the same kind of organization, then I'm sure they could. The trouble is, at the moment, Phuquoc, most of the farms I think are growing it organically and are following a system, but not all of them. Whereas here, if you put one foot out of line, you're out. That's it.
Wow.
And if you're out,
Very strict.
your
Very
pepper is not
strict.
certified by Kampot Association. If it's not certified, it's not Kampot pepper anymore.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So when we do our sorting of the black pepper, when we're making the pepper, the red pepper, we do this. When we harvest the pepper, we separate out the red berries from the green berries from all the other color berries, the red or the orange, yellow, turning, damaged red berries. All of those can become made into white pepper, but the red pepper berries need to be pretty much in perfect condition to go on to become red pepper. The green berries that become black pepper, well, you're going to get a whole mix of stuff in there. You're going to get big corns, small corns, corns with the seed not fully developed, and that only becomes clear after you've dried it in the sun. So with black pepper, we have a secondary sorting which happens post-production, sorting where you actually take out all of the peppercorns that are not up to standard. So we get about a 30% loss at that point too. So all of that pushes the price of pepper up. Whereas the commodity growing area, they can pretty much sell it all.
All right, we want to thank Chris and his wife Allie, the owners of BoTree Pepper Farm here in Kampot. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, telling us about the farm and the history and the future of your farm. So.
And the
I hope
passion.
you'll come back and see us when we've got our product development kitchen up and running, and we're making lots of exotic little jars of things.
Yeah.
Absolutely, sounds good.
I'm so excited for that.
Right, thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you.
We hope you guys enjoyed this tour of the BoTree Pepper Farm here in Kampot Province. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.